Nvidia absolutely crushes earnings, and I believe going forward, the market is going to absolutely take off. So first, before we get into this, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this video if you like anything that you hear. And if you're interested, join our Patreon. It's All in Society Investing. It's also a newsletter. We provide great information just like this. And then if you really want to get busy, if you're someone who likes long-term investing or you're a trader such as options trades, you can join the Patreon. And only $10 per month, you can get our trades in real time. But let's get right into it. One of the quotes that I loved, Jensen put on an absolute clinic during this earnings call. If you're an analyst, if you're an investor in Nvidia, I feel like he's kind of debunked or put to shame any of these bear theories about chip depreciation. He talked about that and how chips, I want to say the older chips are lasting like 6 years and they're still fully functional. And so that put a myth, or that debunked the myth that some of these companies are inflating the depreciation of their chips and saying their life is longer than what Michael Burry, who was a short seller, believed was capable for these chips. Also, and I'm going to read a quote here. It says, quote, this is from Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia. There's been a lot of talk about an AI bubble. And he says, quote, from our vantage point, we see something very different. So right there, I think that might spark the market, as well as these numbers are absolutely astonishing. So they crushed on earnings, they crushed on revenue. Earnings per share this past quarter was $1.30 adjusted versus $1.25. So beat earnings there. And then revenue was just over 57 billion. And analysts estimated 54.92 billion. So actually crushed in revenue. Moving further on data center sales, 51.2 billion in the quarter, surpassing analyst expectations for just over 49 billion, which is a 66% rise on a year-over-year basis. That's absolutely astonishing. Company has over $550 billion in orders for 2025, and 2026 combined. And the CFO says in quotes, and this is amazing, that number will grow. And then the last thing I want to share with you as far as quotes from the earnings call, the quote was, cloud GPUs are sold out. So if you're worried that they were supplying these chips and the orders weren't coming in as we expected, there was any type of slowdown on the amount of orders from these hyperscalers like Elon's companies, Meta, Microsoft, all of these companies, I think maybe you can throw Oracle in there as well, OpenAI, all of these companies are not slowing down. If anything, we should see higher numbers in the future. So if you're wondering, well, Claude, how did the stock react? Well, right now shares are up just over 5%. So it's sitting around $196, actually flat right now in the aftermarket. And then if you want to look at the market overall, QQQ is up over 1.5% in the aftermarket, largely due to Nvidia. But you see other companies are rising as well. Meta is up 1.5%. Jensen spoke about Meta multiple times. On the latter half of the earnings call, he was saying how AI is really transforming their ad business, and it's really complex in order to put out all of these, whether it's reels and videos. All these chips are so powerful, they can determine what exactly that you want to see in front of you, and that's going to drive revenue for Meta. And I think he kind of just ease investors, analysts issues with Meta spending so much, because it sounds like eventually down the road, this spending is going to be worth it. It is absolutely astonishing. If we want to go down a little bit further, Apple is up a little bit. They're near all-time highs. Amazon's up almost 2% in after hours, which is great because that thing was dropping over 5 days, down just under 9%. It's actually up for the month still after earnings. And then Vertiv Holdings, we talk about this company a lot. They are the partner with Nvidia and data centers. That stock is up 6% in after hours. So it looks like it's trickling out throughout the entire market, throughout the entire AI ecosystem, if you will. And then if you really, oh my goodness, guys. Last time I looked at this, Bitcoin was at 92,000. We're at 95,000. Now, my Yahoo Finance app has been acting kind of crazy. So you can see right now it says chart is not available. I'm going to look at my phone just to see if it says the same thing, just to get an update. Okay, it's at 99, basically 92,000. I'm not sure exactly why it said 95,000, because if that was the case, that would be absolutely astonishing if you had that large jump like that. But it is good to see that it's off of the lows. Bitcoin seems like it's coming back. Looks like the more risk on investments are starting to perk back up. And I think we have a case going forward that the market is going to get off of this downturn that it's on, kind of shrug that off a little bit, shrug off the bears, shake them off a little bit, and hopefully we might be able to finish higher by the end of the year. November, December are typically strong months in the market overall, and January as well. So we might be able to finish higher on the year. All right, I want to move to the charts and just kind of show you a couple things. So I've been studying the charts a lot more as of recent. It's really helping me enter my trades and exit my trades. And so this is over 3 months, but I'm going to take it, rather than looking at the day chart, I'll make it turn it into the hour chart. But we can pretty much see here just on the day chart, because I think it's going to be easier for you guys to really see this. So you see in this area, this like 195, 196 area. And like I said, if I get to the hour chart, it'll be a lot more candles there, and maybe a little bit difficult to see, but I just kind of want to give you a glimpse here. We see this is what we've been talking about this a lot lately, a supply and demand zone. So supply zone is essentially the market starts selling off. So we had this nice run here, right? Where my cursor is, and this, where the dotted line is, this 195 area, the market starts to tick lower until we get lower down here. It's what we call demand zone, where folks, it's really in this 180 range, where folks are like, all right, that's enough. Let's send these shares higher. And you can see right here. So supply zone, people are selling when it reaches this area. Demand zone, when it reaches this area down here, which is around 180 bucks, then it shoots higher. And it's happened multiple times. So let's go to the month chart, and we'll look at the hour. And I wanted to kind of see, so right now I want to focus on right here. Okay. So if right here is the one, I'm lost, guys. We're at 995. Okay, found it. So you see right here, there's this huge red candle, right? Right here on November 12th. And then we see the share just on our downtrend. We're right at that area, that just under 196 right now. After market, we're at $196, and it's staying there for a reason, because this is a supply zone. Okay, this 196 area. I believe from studying the charts, if tomorrow we can get past this 196 area decisively, then it's off to the races. Then we're heading up towards $200, 200 plus, and maybe potentially by the end of the year, maybe we can get an all-time high out of this on this next run. So that's what I'm really focused on tomorrow. not somebody who's just going to say, all right, NVIDIA had great earnings, let's jump in. I want to see exactly what happens here. Do we hold this 196 and that becomes our new floor and we just kind of consolidate there? Or we take this 196 out and we're off to the races up here. Okay? If that's the case, then we need to start jumping in some plays. Now, long-term investing, we should have probably already been in. Once Nvidia fell to this 180 area, we should have been loading in because that was the supply zone. We've seen that before, and it broke it a little bit, but it didn't really validate it too much. We got down to 178, so basically $179, and you saw it jumped off of that and then came back down to that 180 range right here and then went right back up where we are today. Okay, so if we can get past that 196, I think that's going to be very bullish going forward, and we'll have a strong remainder of the year, and maybe we can see new highs. I think we'll see NVIDIA 200 relatively soon, maybe not by the end of this week, but we'll see it relatively soon. Now, there's other macro environment things that are happening, and we need to be mindful of. That's why I'm not a big, now, there's people who are very successful at day trading. They get in and they get out. I'm not really to that point. I don't really feel comfortable doing that. I'm a long-term investor. So if you like rocking with me, if you're someone who's like, yeah, I'm not Claude, I'm not really someone who likes day trading, I'm more long-term investor. Well, I do options that are kind of like hybrid of that. We do leap options and way far out options, which is a leap option. And we take advantage of that entire run once we identify something is catching momentum and it's riding higher. That's what I prefer to do. I have NVIDIA contracts that are out till the end of 2026 and the end of 2027. So I'm a long-term thinker. NVIDIA, this is not just a short-term play. NVIDIA, this company is changing the world. It's not in the United States. It's not just in certain industries or sectors. It's throughout the entire world. You see in healthcare, these chips are put into use so they can solve these complex problems and be able to, instead of put band-aids on things and giving us treatment, be able to cure things in the future. Even Mark Zuckerberg has talked about that, and his wife talking about curing all diseases in the future. And that's what they aim for. That's what they aspire to do. And I think that's absolutely awesome goal to have. He's not just somebody who just wants to hoard a bunch of money and live the best life he can. He wants to make life better for all of us. And I think it's amazing. And even shares right now are getting beat up. That is a company and that is a man I want to bet on for the future. So if you are interested how we're going to operate moving forward as far as options or long-term investing, make sure you join the Patreon. It's only $10 per month. If you've been in with us and you've jumped in some of our plays, some of them we hit, some of them we don't. But more times than not, the stats are 70% of the time, 70%, over 70% of our trades are winning trades. And now every once in a while we take L's, but we don't take very large L's very often. I think the most we've lost in one trade this year is about $2,000. And that was I think it was actually a Vertiv Holdings play, and that was right around DeepSeek and the tariffs and all of that just kind of killed the momentum. We held on to it because we were strong believers, but it just didn't pan out. We didn't have enough time on our contract, and unfortunately, it sold as a loss. But we've made plenty of money out of options, and especially a long-term investing, especially with the company Vertiv. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you join the Patreon. I did want to look at the Qs as well. If you want to, you're not really comfortable betting on NVIDIA as an individual company, maybe you want to take to the Qs and take have a piece of all of the companies that are in the AI trade as far as tech. So we see QQQ in the aftermarket is hovering around 609, 610. You can see right here, this dotted line you see across here is where the supply zone is. You see it touches it quite a bit here. So we have a little bit more room to run. So that's because this is at 611 and 50 cents, $611.50. So it has still a little bit of room to run here before we hit that supply zone. And it's nothing to say we blow past this and we get towards that 630 and those new potential new all-time highs for the Qs. Remember, Google is going to be a part of the Qs. Google's been running hot. Nvidia is the top dog in the QQQ ETF. You have Apple, you have Broadcom, you have Meta, you have Netflix. All of those companies, I think, are going to, along with Nvidia, they're just kind of follow Nvidia's lead, follow Jensen's lead, and potentially rocket higher the rest of this year. I think we were just waiting for this catalyst. We wanted Jensen to just kind of ease our fears and let us know, paint a rosy picture for us. And I think he did that absolutely flawlessly today. And really, some of those bear theories just kind of knocked them out. So again, QQQ is a company we're going to be playing soon. If you want to see exactly what we're doing in the Qs and want to make some money with us, obviously do your own research, guys. I'm not a professional. I don't have any credentials to say follow Claude blindly. So always do your own research. But if you want to tap in with me and play the game and see how I play the game at a high level, please join us in the Patreon. You can always join for free. Please show me some love. Like this video, follow. If you enjoyed it, share you with your friends and family. And I'll see you guys at the end of the year and we'll have some fat pockets. Peace. On to the next one.